Barca win 3-1 against Atletico Madrid and extend their lead at the top of La Liga to 4 points. Now, of course, Real Madrid have a big game against Athletic Club that could obviously reduce the deficit. But let's talk about this game. Barca getting the business done. This game could have honestly ended 5-4, 6-3. There were goals to be had in this game. We got 4 of them. But the thing with Barca is that every single game they play, it could be a 10-goal thriller. Honestly, as a neutral, as someone who doesn't have a dog in this fight, I love watching Barcelona. They are my favorite team to watch in the game because you're guaranteed entertainment. You're guaranteed back and forth. You're guaranteed goals. You're guaranteed excitement. You're guaranteed watching the best players in the game. But if I was a Barcelona fan, right, I think I would genuinely have a heart attack every single time I watch this team. And after 20 minutes, that was very clear to see why. Alex Baena, Barca's high line fails. He gets in behind by the skin of his teeth, dinks it over, doesn't dink it really. He slots it really past John Garcia really nicely. 1-0 Atletico, and you're just thinking to yourself, man, same story, different game. Could be against Chelsea. It could be against Bilbao the other week. It can be against Atletico Madrid. It could be against Real Madrid. It could be against PSG. It could be against, who was it that they played a few? Club Brugge. It doesn't matter. Same story, different game. When will Flick learn? And honestly, there's a few instances. They just scored that one. In the first half, Gerard Martin was dangerously close to being sent off after fouling his man basically on the edge of the goal, but on further replay, he got a last-ditch tackle. And then in the second half, Juliano, Griezmann, and Almada. I mean, 3 chances that at professional level, you are scratching your head wondering how can you miss those? How? I mean, Griezmann right now, right? I love Antoine Griezmann. I think he's a legend of his generation. Honestly, he's a legend of his era. He's a legend of French football. And he's a legend of Atletico Madrid as well, too. But I think it's time to hang up the boots for them, man. Honestly, every dog has his day. And the danger of him is, I think his day came last season. I don't think he should have stayed another year at Atletico because every time I watch him, I feel like as great a player as Griezmann has been, he is so far away removed from that I actually find him to be a hindrance at times for Atletico. And today, that chance he misses right at the death, right before Ferran goes up the other end and scores, it's criminal. It's criminal. But with all that being said, Atletico could have got something out of this game. On the basis of the play, I don't think they deserved it. I think Barcelona were the better team today. I have to be honest. And I think for 3 players in particular. First and foremost, welcome back Pedri Gonzalez. Guys, there's this conversation that happens in England right now between Caicedo and Rice. Every single day, I open my phone and I see the English media talking about Caicedo and Rice. Who's the best midfielder? Who's the best midfielder in the Premier League? To the point now that I'm even seeing people say these are the 2 best midfielders in the world. I'm just like, wow, I like Caicedo and I like Rice. I think they're unbelievable. I think those are the 2 best midfielders at the moment in the Prem. No doubt about it, right? And they are world-class, whatever you want to call them, they're world-class. But personally, I think there are severe levels to this game. And the level, the standard, the bar is named Pedri Gonzalez. Wow. Today, guys, I think it was his first game back from injury. I believe it was because he didn't play in midweek against Chelsea. Yeah, his first game back from injury today. And it's like he never left. And the difference with Barcelona when Pedri plays and when he does not play is night and day. It is night and day. It's the sun and the moon. You could not recognize Barca without Pedri. But when he's there, everything feels back to normal. I feel safe. If I was a Barca fan, I would feel safe if Pedri is playing. The performance he put in today, maestro. And he has a real track record of this because even last season, the game Atletico snatched at whatever Barca's old ground was in the last minute of Sorloth. Barca lost, I think, 2-1 that day. Pedri was the best player on the pitch. He was the best player on the pitch. He ran this game from start to finish, man. Sets up Raphinha. And Raphinha is the other player I want to talk about. Both of those guys making really their full return to the starting 11 today for Barca. And you can see that they have missed these 2 players, man. They have missed them. Pedri, because he just runs the game. The game goes through Pedri. If he wants to have the greatest game of all time, Barca will blitz the opposition. If he's not there, forget about it. It's Russian roulette. I mean, I'm really struggling to think what midfielder do I think is actually on his level. Because there's great midfielders. Jude, Vitinha, João Neves, Rice, and Caicedo. No doubt about it. I'm not trying to say that no one's even good, right? They're all great. But I think this guy is the gold bar, man. Honestly, every time I watch him play, he's unbelievable. I feel like he's got a little bit of everything. He's so comfortable on the ball. He's incredible at weaving his way through defenses. He wins back the ball really well. He's got a beautiful pass on him, a beautiful final ball. The weight of pass from Pedri is never off, ever. You see sometimes midfielders misplace a pass or they mishit a pass or it's not heavy enough or it goes to the wrong foot. Every Pedri pass feels like it's placed and weighted with like care. It's like he wraps it in a present box and gives it to somebody. You feel safe when you receive that pass because you know it came from Pedri. Special today, man. special. And the pass to Raphinha is fantastic. And Raphinha, man, I mean, do I think he's Barca's best player like some people were saying last season? No, I don't. But he is so vital to this team. Both in terms of his finishing ability, both in terms of his running off the ball, his threat in behind, his pressing from the front, his ability to track runners. Raphinha is such a good player, man. So valuable to this team. And I really feel as good as Rashford has been this season and as many goals as Ferran has scored this year, he is their top scorer. Raphinha, when he's fit, starts in this team every day of the week. I feel like he's invaluable for this team. And the run that he makes, coupled with the finish, rounding the keeper to slot it into an empty net, they have missed those two more than you can believe. And it should have been 2-1 because Dani Olmo receives the ball, and let's call it what it is with Dani Olmo, because I know Dani Olmo is not the most popular player with Barca fans. I know he's not. But let's call it what it is as well. Dani Olmo, in and around the penalty box, is one of the sharpest players in the game. Some of this guy's instincts and movements and cuts and turns, he twists. He's like a little rattlesnake, man. The minute he approaches the edge or inside the penalty box, he just seems to come alive. And he's got a bag of tricks and flicks that rival pretty much anyone in that position. When he's in that area of the pitch, he just comes alive. Outside of the penalty box, I think he leaves a lot to be desired for me personally. But in and around the penalty box, I think he is up there with the sharpest players in the game. And he has a terrific little turn on, who was it, Barrios from Atletico Madrid, wins the penalty, and you're thinking, okay, 2-1. The main man steps up, Robert Lewandowski, almost as surefire as you can get from penalties. Having said that, we know he missed 2 weeks ago, right? But blazes it over. Not even blazes it over the bar. That is one of the worst penalties from anybody you will see. 1-1. And Lewandowski, it wasn't his day today. I think his touches were off. He got denied minutes later from a beautiful Yamal cross. And then in the second half, just late to receive a cross as well, too. Not Lewandowski's day. And look, there's been a lot of conversation this week about Lewandowski's future. Rumors suggesting that he will not extend his contract at the end of the season. Barcelona reportedly targeting the guy they were playing against today, Julian Alvarez. I hear it because I think Lewandowski, as good as he still is, he's still a good striker, is approaching the end. Let's call it what it is. He is only going to get worse from this point on. And although he still scores goals, his lack of availability to this point this season, and the fact that he isn't as clinical as he maybe was a few seasons back or even last year, probably suggests Barca need to look elsewhere going forward for that position. It's natural. He's getting older, but we'll see who that ends up being. But the third player I want to talk about this game is Lamine Yamal, who, wow. I mean, the thing with Lamine is I think he's by far, by the way, like not even close. I don't think there's a close second to him. He is by far the most high volume attacker in the game. The amount of football this guy generates through a 90-minute game for an attacker is just stupid. The amount of touches he receives during the game, the amount of passes he receives, the amount of dribbles he attempts. I mean, today, La Liga announced a stat that Yamal has passed the 50 mark for successful dribbles in La Liga. Apparently, he had 25 exactly by the same stage last season. So if that doesn't show you that this guy is just getting the ball and ripping his fullback, not even game after game, minute after minute, he is a 90-minute threat like you will never see. And today, he doesn't leave a goal or an assist, which, again, the casuals will look at and say, Yamal is having an off season, blah, blah, blah. My thing with Yamal this year, he's got to stay fit. And I think there's been moments where he's playing, but I don't think he's 100% match fit. Today, he looked a whole lot like his normal self, to be honest with you. Today, I mean, there's moments where he loses the ball, but because Yamal is so high volume, because he's always on the ball, it doesn't really matter how many times he loses it, because you know the next moment he gets it, he's got the memory of a goldfish. He'll just go against his fullback again and again and again. And like I said, could have had that assist for Lewa, and then even in the second half, guys, one of the runs he goes on to send through Raphinha is just, it's Messi-esque. I know we hate Messi's like the taboo word when we talk about Yamal, right? We don't want to compare the two. They're different. They're on different journeys. They're different players. But this run is so Messi-esque, it's stupid. Receiving it off the right-hand side and just weaving in and out and in and out and in and out and dragging 3, 4, 5 defenders on him before just... It reminded me of a Messi run that he did, I believe, was it the send through Johnson? He had this one run early on in his Barca career where, again, similarly, he just attracts so many defenders to him before slotting in his player perfectly. Sends through Raphinha, and you would expect Raphinha to finish that, but wow, Yamal today, man. It's scary to see what he's going to go on to be, because right now, already, he's just a joke. He's just practically unstoppable. The amount of double and triple teams Atletico Madrid threw at him today, and it doesn't really seem to matter, because more often than not, he will find a key to the lock. He will find a solution to the problem. Special, man. Barca today, they were the better team. I know Atletico Madrid created a lot of chances. That's something we just have to live with at this point, man. Honestly, if you're a Barca fan, this is what you have to live with. You know that this team is going to concede chances. But the fact now that Raphinha, Lewa, and Yamal are all fit and healthy, with Pedri supplying the bullets, you can now breathe a little more and think to yourself, okay, they might score 2, we're probably going to score 4. They might score 3. We're capable of scoring 5. If you have your best attackers on the pitch, I think I feel a whole lot more comfortable believing that this team can outscore opposition. But let's call it what it is with this Hansi Flick team at the same time too, man. Teams have figured him out, and not only that, they are game planning against him this season. I think that's the difference between last year and this year. Last year, Flick and Barca really came out of nowhere, and they really shocked everybody. So it was like you're entering a 12-round boxing fight, but you're knocking out the opponent in 6 rounds, in 5 rounds, because they don't expect this crazy high line where you're pressuring them from minute 1 to minute 90. They didn't know what to expect, and they didn't know how to react. And that's what ultimately led to Barca winning the league, winning the Copa del Rey, winning the Super Cup, and nearly winning the Champions League. So this season, they went and did their homework, man. They're studying this shit, man. They're looking... Okay, Barca, the high line is about 50, let's say 57 yards away from goal. Therefore, if we position our run at this angle and release it at approximately this second, we should be able to catch them out. So therefore, hey man, you're trying to go on a 12-round fight with these guys, right? 6 rounds in, you're trying to throw that uppercut, but now they can read it. Now they expect it. Now they're ready for it. You throw that uppercut, they've got to hit you with a, okay, 1-2 punch right there, bro. That's what they're hitting you with now, man. They're ready now, guys. Barca can no longer afford to do what they did last season. They need to switch it up a little bit, man. They need to switch it up a little bit. But ultimately, in La Liga, for as poor, in my opinion, as Barca have been, or rather inconsistent, I would say, and unconvincing, and the amount of injuries they have had, they are still 4 points ahead of Real Madrid. Granted, with a game in hand, we do understand that, but this kind of tells you the story of La Liga this year, man. It is not that great. Because I would honestly say any Real Madrid team, barring last season of like the last 5 years, would win this league. Any serious Real Madrid team would walk away with this league title. And the fact that Barcelona, despite their early struggles, are still at the top, I don't think it says as much about Barca as it does about Real Madrid. I'm going to be honest with you here. I'm not entirely convinced by Barca. I think they got a lot of work to do. But the fact that Real Madrid have not been able to capitalize on Barca's early woes tells you everything about Real and tells you everything about La Liga this season, to be honest with you. So that's my thoughts on the game. Barca comfortable towards the end. I don't want to say comfortable because realistically, they could have lost this game. But I think they did enough to win it at the same time too. And of course, Ferran, I can't ignore the last minute goal that he gives to make it 3-1, right? I will say this. There's one player I'm looking at this year compared to last with Barca, and I need to see more from him. That's Cubarsí. Cubarsí is one of the best young talents in the game in his position, right? Center back from La Masia, plays for the national team. He's a good player. We know that. I mean, he's looked like a phenom to this point. But this year, I don't know whether it's the miss of Inigo Martinez next to him, or he's just having a bad run of form at the moment. But Cubarsí, for me, this year has not looked anywhere near the standards and the levels he hit the last 2 years. He looks like he's really going through a slump at the moment. And again, he gets extremely lucky that I even forgot a chance that they missed in the first half. I'm saying Barca were comfortable. They really weren't, because in the first half, Cubarsí mistimes his header that completely sends an Atletico Madrid forward through on goal. And again, Joan Garcia, they actually think he might have handballed it towards further inspection. His hand is to his side. But Cubarsí, for me, is not really leading that back line the way I expected he would once Inigo Martinez left the club. You are now, I know Araujo is next to you, right? But let's call it what it is. Araujo is his own little mess right now. You are now the most experienced player, the guy that you're supposed to rely on the most, especially when you're next to Eric Garcia or whoever he's playing next to. Maybe experience isn't the right word, but you know what I mean. He's the best center back at the club. At the moment, he is playing so far away from it. And I understand he's not being helped by the press, the line that Hansi Flick is deploying him in. No defender in Barcelona right now is actually benefiting from the way Flick plays. They're all being exposed. But I think Cubarsí last year dealt with that line a whole lot better than he is this year. And again, whether that's due to Inigo Martinez, who was next to him last year being the adult in the room, or just a lack of form this year, Cubarsí needs to fix up, man. But that's all I got to say on Barcelona. Atletico Madrid. I mean, look, this was an opportunity to, what? If they had won this game, they would have been tied on points with Barcelona. This was a 6-pointer. They would have been joint with Barca at the top of the table. It's a huge opportunity missed. And as for, again, their players, Alvarez playing his worst game of the season. This was a game they really needed him to show up, and he couldn't. And the 3 musketeers that I named, Giuliano, Almada, Griezmann. You got to hang your heads in shame today, man. Deplorable misses. Misses that wouldn't be forgivable at youth level. Horrible. This game was there to be won for Atletico, but ultimately, Barca were the more lethal, Barca were the more convincing, and Barca were the team to collect all 3 points. Top of the table. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Leave a like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will see you tomorrow for for another day of football. See you guys soon. Peace.